Commander Shepard, I understand you've helped resolve the situation with the Geth.
Yes, Counselor. 2, in fact.
I've read the reports. You ended a war 3 centuries in the making.
I had a lot of help.
We have isolated pockets of remaining Geth. As best we can tell, they are Geth bodies loaded with Reaper code. But they are just a tiny fragment of the full Geth fleet. You've done the impossible, Commander. And I may be able to provide help of my own. I've received information from my government. It's too sensitive to discuss over an unsecured channel.
What if I come to the Citadel?
Yes, that would be best, Commander. I'll be waiting for you in Counselor Udina's office.
Commander, Admiral Hackett's available on VidCom.
Okay. For the record, game designers, that would have been the perfect moment to reveal Tali's face. So, we have united the Geth and the Quarians, gotten Tali her homeworld back, and gotten Tali back as a permanent squad member. But we had to sacrifice Legion. All in all, a better outcome than anyone could have hoped for, I suppose. But still. Let's make sure his sacrifice was not in vain. Let's beat the damn Reapers. First time I played this, like I said, I was very afraid that the game was steering towards a choice between the Quarians and the Geth. I did not know that it would be possible to get peace. And like I said before, I probably would have picked the Quarians because my first Shepherd also romanced Tali, so just for her sake I would have picked the Quarians. Although I would have probably picked the Geth in other playthroughs just to see what that was like. And if Tali hadn't been there, if there had been no such character among the Quarians, if my favorite character in the game basically wasn't a Quarian, then I really don't know what I would have picked, because I do like the Quarians as a race, but the Geth are also extremely interesting and definitely did not deserve to die. So that would have been a very big moral dilemma if I really was required to pick. But you're not required to pick if you've done everything right up to this point, which fortunately during my first playthrough I had. It all comes down to whether or not you can use that charm or intimidate option to convince the fleet to fall back. And that, like many other of these pivotal choices in this game, does not just depend on your reputation, like regular charm or intimidate options. There are many factors that affect this particular choice. I do not know them all. I don't think they've all been exactly mapped out yet. Some things are required, some things are not required but play in favor of it, some things play against being able to do it. And I guess it's like a sum that in the end you need to have sufficient. What I do know that is required, if memory serves, Tali needs to be alive, needs to be loyal, and needs to be not exiled. Otherwise you can't do it. You need to have saved Chorus, otherwise you can't do it. Those are the things that I know are absolutely required. Other things that I know have an impact are the destruction of the Geth heretics. It works in favor of being able to get peace. Although you can still get peace if you rewrote them, but did everything else right, which was actually what I did on my first playthrough. Another very important factor is whether you were able to peacefully resolve the conflict between Legion and Tali back in Mass Effect 2, after you've done both of their loyalty missions. There may be other factors as well, I'm not entirely sure of them, but those are the main ones. If not, then you are forced to choose. You can choose to side with the Quarians, in which case Legion will disobey you, continue uploading the code, and Tali will finally have to use that knife she has strapped to her boot to stop him, which leads to the destruction of not only Legion but also the rest of the Geth. If you side with the Geth, this what happens, I've never done it myself, I've seen it on YouTube once. And I would not recommend watching it if you like Tali at all. And I know usually when I say something like that, it's with the intent to get you to look it up. But in this case, no, this is not a fun thing to watch. If you side with the Geth, the Quarian fleet gets wiped out. And Tali commits suicide. I'll leave it at that. It is honestly not something you want to see. If Tali was already dead from the suicide mission in Mass Effect 2, Admiral Ron takes her place, not on your squad, but she will show up at the end like she did here. And she basically takes the same role in either stopping Legion if you side with the Quarians, or committing suicide if you side with the Geth, although Ron commits suicide in a slightly less dramatic fashion than Tali does. It's kind of an interesting writing choice, I feel, to do that. I guess it makes sense considering how strongly loyal Tali is to her people, and losing everything would have rather a strong impact. And in a way, if you are romancing her, although I do not understand what you are doing if you're romancing Tali and then side with the Geth, but anyway, in a way, if you do, it would be even more logical for her to commit suicide in a way, because then she was betrayed by the man she loves. There's also a rather bizarre glitch in the game if you do that, which is kind of macabre in that Tali, even if she dies here by committing suicide, if you romanced her, she will show up later for one of the romance scenes, even if she's dead. I'm not sure if that's been fixed since then, but I know it was a glitch in the beginning of the game, which is kind of weird. Again, I haven't actually seen it, but I did read about it. Because all of my playthroughs I've been able to get peace, and I've always done so. This is one of the alternatives that I feel absolutely no need to ever actually play. Another thing is the fight with the Reaper there at the end. I made it look very simple, and it is actually very simple, but not the first time you do it. There's basically two tricks to it. The first is, well, first of all, you kind of need to realize that you can interrupt your laser targeting. It will stay at the same progress. So if you just target it, and then when the beam gets close, you jump to the side and then resume targeting. You don't have to start over. And since the beam moves faster at higher difficulties, that is something you need to do if you're playing on a higher difficulty. So if you don't realize you can do that, you're going to die a couple of times. The second thing is that you, if you just roll at the last moment, you can always get away. So as long as you don't pin yourself against a wall somewhere, you're fine. And the last thing is that if you're moving at the moment the Reaper starts firing at you, it tracks in your direction. So if I'm moving left when the Reaper starts firing, the beam will track towards the left, and it will continue moving towards the left regardless of what I do. So at that point it's very simple for me to dodge it to the right. So if you just keep doing that, it's almost impossible to die here. But of course the first time you do that, you don't know any of that, and I died several times in my first attempt here. But it is a fairly simple trick, and once you know it, it is not that difficult. It is kind of a cosmic faceplant award for the Reapers, I think, the way we keep beating them on foot. Okay, let's see what Hackett has to say about these developments.
Commander, something on your mind?
You could say that.
What's our state of readiness, Admiral?
Given the situation everywhere else as close as we can be, you've done well, Shepard.
What about the extra help we picked up along the way?
Bringing in both the Quarians and the Geth has helped us immeasurably. The Quarian fleet is providing evac and fire support, while the Geth attack Reaper supply lines.
What about the Rachni?
I wouldn't have believed it, but the Rachni are helping us build the Crucible.
You're kidding.
Turns out they have a knack for weapons of mass destruction. In hindsight, I guess they'd know a thing or two about waging a galactic war.
No problems with them then?
Other than scaring the hell out of our engineers, no. Not a lot of small talk going on there.
I think we've actually seen all of these before. Maybe not this one.
How about the Asari and Solarians?
Since the coup attempt, the Asari have stepped up to the plate. They're committing fleets and sending a science team to work on the Crucible. And believe it or not, they promised us the Destiny Ascension. They haven't forgotten you saved it 3 years ago.
And the Solarians?
They sent the entire fleet as a thank you for rescuing their counselor. I guess they managed to overlook the genophage cure.
Well, that makes sense, I guess.
What's the Reaper situation?
It's not trending well, even if you did buy Radix some time. Our threat projections show the Reapers will gain the advantage on most other fronts. And now the Asari are a prime target. They're the most advanced race in the galaxy. We'll soon find out if that means anything.
Did I ask this before?
If I may, Admiral, I have a personal question.
Speak freely, Commander.
Why me? Why put me in charge of all this?
Because you're the only son of a bitch I've got who knows how to kill Reapers.
You just have to be smart and hope you get lucky. Anyone can figure it out.
Your dossier says otherwise, Shepard. You stopped the Batarian slavers on Elysium all those years ago. What you did, the people who survived that ordeal still thank you by name.
And because of that, you think I qualify to save the galaxy?
Shepard, let me tell you something that I've learned the hard way. You can pay a soldier to fire a gun, you can pay him to charge the enemy and take a hill, but you can't pay him to believe.
I don't follow, sir.
When you went up against Sovereign, there was no good reason to believe you'd win. But your crew didn't seem to care, they went along anyway. Your trip through the Omega-4 relay? That was a suicide mission if there ever was one. Yet there your crew was, standing beside you, proud to serve. Why? Because they believed in you, their leader. That's what I need now. Where we're taking them is liable to get pretty hairy, and I know you're the one who will get us to the other side.
And besides, we did unite the Krogan and the Turians, and just now the Geth and the Quarians, and we managed to get the Asari and the Solarians on our side, so I think that's enough reason to justify by now that Shepard was the right person to put in charge of all this.
Nothing more, sir.
Hack it out.
Of course, the admirals are gone. They'll be busy with recolonizing Rannoch, of course, and helping us with the Reapers, I suppose. Legion is gone for obvious reason. And while Tali is still on board, she's no longer in the war room. So it's empty here again. And we got a whole bunch of new assets. We are doing well, I think. So we got the Geth Corps, I suppose. Until recently, the Geth expected nothing but violence from organics and designed themselves accordingly. All Geth platforms are armed, shielded, and built to withstand combat. When they're on the battlefield, enemy tactics and positions are swapped instantaneously between the AIs. The Geth also employ turrets and drones, expendable hardware, support to keep losses of network platforms to a minimum. The result is the largest and perhaps best equipped infantry in the galaxy. And I guess that these are the ones that provide the Geth units that fight in the multiplayer. Of course, you can still fight as a Geth in the multiplayer, even if you sided with the Quarians. But anyway, Geth fleet. Many Geth vessels are built to explore, mine, or provide transport between factories and space stations, but every Geth ship, regardless of purpose, is also capable of engaging hostile forces. Unbound by the Treaty of Phyrexian, the synthetic intelligences built almost as many dreadnoughts as the Turians. The software running these ships is in the Geth themselves. Highly advanced electronic security measures and cyber warfare suites bolster already formidable firepower. Updated. Deleting the Geth heretics depleted Geth numbers, giving the Quarians an advantage when their flotilla began the assault on Rannoch. As a result, damage to the Quarian fleet is not as extensive as projections estimated. Essentially, deleting the Geth heretics reduces your war assets on the Geth side, but it increases war assets for the Quarians by an equal amount, so the net result is 0, unless of course you can't get peace, in which case it does make a difference. But since I did get peace, that decision did not affect the war assets. And we got a lot of Quarian assets. Admiral Daro Zen. Admiral Daro Zen is head of Quarian Special Projects, research vessels that create and improve the technology that keeps the Quarian flotilla operational. Studying the Geth all her life, Zen is an expert on synthetic intelligences. And I'm kind of sorry that she didn't have a larger role in this game, because I kind of liked her character. Plus I like Claudia Black, so whatever. She didn't, and actually quite a lot of her content was cut based on script leaks that were released before. Among other things, I think she had some dialogue related to your relationship with Tali. If you were romancing her, she would find out about it and confront you. Which was kind of interesting, but again, it's all been cut, unfortunately. Quarian civilian fleet. The civilian fleet makes up most of the Quarian flotilla. Properly coordinated, the fleet compensates for its lack of dedicated warships with its sheer numbers. Even its smallest crafts are equipped with ship-to-ship weaponry. The civilian life ships, enormous floating gardens that produce food for the Quarians, have also been fitted with massive Phanex cannons to provide heavy firepower. Updated. Deleting the Geth heretics depleted... well, that's the same as on the Geth side, so I don't need to read that again. Quarian heavy fleet. Any pirates or mercenaries attempting to prey on the Quarian flotilla must contend with the heavy fleet's cruisers, frigates, fighters, and carriers. The heavy fleet is led by Admiral Han Garrel. The Admiral firmly believes in the importance of ship maintenance and regular training exercises, and actively encourages those on pilgrimage to seek out technology that will upgrade his fleet's capabilities. As a result, cutting-edge technology is often found in the best of the fleet's heavy vessels. The best of the heavy fleet's vessels. Updated. The patrol fleet sacrificed several of its ships to take the brunt of the Geth's attacks on the heavy fleet, buying the heavy fleet time to repair its frigates and launch a successful counterattack. That was a result of one of the choices we made. The patrol fleet are scouts, flying ahead of the flotilla on the lookout for mineable bodies and hostile forces. They scan space within VI systems that pick up heat signatures or other signs of foreign vessels. As the first ships to be targeted in any conflict, some of the Quarian's finest engineers monitor and repair the patrol fleet's shielding. The fleet's commanding officer, Admiral Shalaran, relies on speed and shields during combat. And more stuff about the Geth heretics here. So how are we doing? Chances of success are even, which I think is as good as they're gonna get. Alright, now I'm sure that our crew will have a thing or two to say about things that happened here. I want to point out, by the way, that when I was playing this for the first time, when I got to this point, I was basically saying to myself that essentially I'd gotten the ending to the trilogy as a whole that I wanted. And this is before I knew about the actual ending. I'm not even kidding here. This is 100% true. I really literally said to myself, okay, after Tuchanka, after Rannoch, this is what I wanted the game to do. This has satisfied what I was hoping Mass Effect 3 to be like. I'd gotten the ending to the Genophage story and the ending to the Quarian Geth story that I wanted. So at this point I literally said to myself, even if the ending is total crap, I will still like this game. That turned out to be somewhat prophetic.
We just took down a Reaper without a giant thresher maw helping.
Damn right. We just showed the galaxy we could beat him.
Yeah, we took one of the smaller Reapers using an entire fleet, so I'm not entirely sure that's really
There's a new message at your private terminal.
that great a result.
I hear you were on the ground with the Reaper. He fired up at us a few times. Joker pulled the Normandy through some insane maneuvers to stay out of the line of fire.
It's hard being in a fight like that, especially when you're not the one flying the ship. Joker's one of the best, though.
At first I was nauseous, swinging around in my safety harness. But then I was furious. Just enraged. I wanted that thing dead.
You didn't want the Reapers dead when they attacked Earth?
I wanted them defeated. I wanted Earth saved. But I never wanted to physically tear them in half and watch them blow up.
Congratulations, Trainer. I believe you've discovered your fight-or-flight instinct.
Perhaps I should have stayed with chess. Although now I think I'm spoiled by the lack of explosions.
I'm sure there are some good action chess games.
Commander?
You know, like the old chess video games where pawns would fight each other and decapitate each other and things like that. Kind of like a wizard's chess from Harry Potter. Only this actually predates Harry Potter, most of those games. Let's see. I found work to do from Tali. Shepard, just wanted to let you know that I'm going to join Adams in engineering. It seems like the best place for me to help, as long as I'm coming with you anyway. Please drop by when you have a minute. Tali. That seems like the logical place for her to be. I'm sure Adams, Ken and Gabby are happy to have their co-worker back, or boss in the case of Ken and Gabby, I suppose. Not entirely sure how she relates to Adams at this point in time. Progress report from Shalaran Vas Ranok. Again, are they all going to be called that now? It's going to be horribly confusing. Commander, with assistance from the Geth, our fleet is nearly back to full strength. We have focused most of our efforts on providing evacuation assistance and support for the Turian fleet, while the Geth harass their Reapers. Even with our newfound peace, it seemed foolish to risk an incident by putting our forces in closer proximity. I understand from Admiral Zen that the Crucible project continues well, though Zen herself seems dissatisfied with the technological capabilities of the device. Though eccentric, she is also brilliant. Hopefully she will find some way to improve its functionality. I would never have believed you would talk Han down, Commander. Take care of Tali Zora for me. Kila Salai, Admiral Shalaran Vas Ranok. And finally, let's talk Quarian War from Diana Allers. It may be hard to believe after what we just went through, but the rest of the galaxy is barely aware the Quarians ever went into the Veil, let alone started a war with the Geth. We're sitting on a major piece of history here. I have material from all the players except you. Can I get into your cabin for an hour and get your thoughts on Vid? Well, I suppose we can do that. We also got some messages on the datapad. One from Hackett. You never were one to miss a chance to make alliances, Commander. Nice work with the Geth. And one from a Geth Prime. Our cognition is vastly improved. We thank you, Shepard Commander. The Geth will reciprocate this trust. Good. Let's see what Edie and Joker have to say. I'm guessing Edie will have something to say about this.
Gotta hand it to you, Commander. That's the first time I've seen someone end a war by yelling.
After seeing what the Geth Rebellion really looked like, I figured they deserved a chance.
Thank you, Commander. I doubt many organics would have trusted a synthetic race.
And now we've got 2 fleets for the price of 1. We didn't lose anybody.
Except Legion, before it sacrificed itself. Legion referred to itself as I instead of we.
Yeah? So?
The singular pronoun indicates Legion's independent personality had fully actualized. In its last moments, it was not an avatar of the Geth consensus. It was a person.
That's what I figured.
Well, when the Geth fleet helps us retake Earth, I guess we'll owe that to him.
Indeed. Like I said, make sure it's not in vain.
What's on your mind, Edie?
I was just reflecting. The Quarians' historical era was not making the Geth enough like them.
I'm not sure I understand.
Units with networked intelligences will trend toward cooperation for mutual benefit. But units with central heuristics establishing an individual personality, such as myself, develop preferences. These preferences form attachments that keep my calculations from devaluing the worth of the lives aboard the Normandy.
You're saying the Geth turned on the Quarians because they aren't individuals?
That is my theory, but it is limited to a sample size of one society. The only other notable synthetic society is the Reapers, and we do not know if they govern by consensus as the Geth do.
Do me a favor. Don't ask them.
That's probably a good idea. And while you might consider it an error on the part of the Quarians, you have to remember that they weren't actually intending to create AIs. It happened by accident. Creating VIs with the ability to network in order to complete complex tasks makes perfect sense from an engineering perspective, and this is actually my area of expertise, so I do know what I'm talking about. That it ended up creating an AI was an unintended consequence, and that they then decided to destroy that AI when it began asking uncomfortable questions. That is their true mistake.
Hello, Shepard.
Let's go up to my cabin first and deal with Aller's interview.
Trainer, can you send up Diana Allers? She wants to talk to me.
She's on her way, Commander.
I'm sure you've got a million questions.
I narrowed it down to 40. Let's see how you do with the top 10. Commander, the last time most of us heard about Geth, they were attacking the Citadel alongside Sovereign.
Yes, and you should know that was a minority of the Geth. Most of them are not hostile to organics.
Is that how you explain that they're allies, and no longer dangerous robots who stick humans on spikes?
What you have to realize is that despite their reputation, most Geth are not inherently violent. The Quarians attacked them. The Geth fought back in self-defense just like any organic would. Now that we've freed the Geth from Reaper control, they'll want payback for their enslavement.
But you're going to take an army of synthetics to fight Reapers with untold hacking abilities. What's keeping the Reapers from reprogramming the Geth like they have before?
The Geth are extremely intelligent, and they put incredible thought into solving this problem. They're not going to turn again. I bet my life on it.
Now here's a question from a Batarian on Omega. Commander Shepard, if the mass relays can be destroyed... So did I miss anything? Do you have any questions?
You gonna go file your story now?
Well, if you don't mind.
Go tell the Galaxy what we've done. They could use some good news.
Aye aye, Commander.
Good. Desperate measures in the Codex. And that updated war asset as well. Okay, on the crew deck, of course, we have yet another name on this board. I sincerely hope this will be the last one. But then again, it does not seem likely.
Impressed you got those two groups together. We'll see how long the peace lasts.
Come on, Ashley. I know you have some prejudices against the Geth, but after what we did here...
Commander?
I'm disappointed in you, Ashley.
Another Reaper gone, and peace between the Geth and Quarians. It's amazing.
And now my people have a world to fight for. Something they know will last forever.
So long as you and the Geth remain good neighbors.
They're not our servants anymore. I'm not sure what we should call them. Allies?
Friends?
There's still too many wounds on either side. But maybe one day.
That would be nice.
The Migrant Fleet and the Geth warships have joined Admiral Hackett. Good to see you again, Shepard.
Email from Sergeant Kavanaugh to Sergeant Ichi. Next time, you want to warn me that the Geth are our friends and that maybe we're not supposed to shoot the big robots? I almost pissed myself when these primes started dropping out of the sky and mopping up the Reapers. We fired a few rounds at them until we realized they weren't fighting back. Then this one comes over and said they're allied assistants and asks for our status. I'm not complaining to save my crew, but I'm never living down having to apologize to a Geth for shooting one of its damn lights off. Okay. We actually got some intel from the... I think that was actually the Geth server mission, which I completely forgot about. You just get that from doing the mission. You don't need to find it, actually. Let's see, we have improved Geth resistors. These schematics were downloaded from the Geth consensus. They appear to be designs for improved resistor terminals and Geth platforms. The schematics can easily be built into human-sized armor, providing the wearer combat benefits enjoyed by the Geth. The resistors can be tweaked either to increase the wearer's damage output or improve their shields. Let's see, shields or power damage? Well, let's go for power damage. Miniaturized armor capacitors. This data was discovered and downloaded from inside the Geth consensus. Thousands of these miniaturized capacitors were installed beside armor power cells, where they can instantly discharge a stored boost of energy. This boost can be tweaked either to speed up shield regeneration or the rate at which tech, biotic and combat powers can be used. Well, I went for shields for powers with the others, so I'll go for shields now. Quite a lot of upgrades. I guess I could have done that before priority Ranok, but well, I survived it anyway.
Peace between the Geth and Quarians.
Who would have thought?
Not how I ever imagined that would turn out. And next you'll be telling me the Krogan and Turians are cooperating. Oh, right. You managed that one too. You're a peacemaker, Shepard. A rare thing these days. Now, if you can pacify the Reapers, we'll make you a saint.
Pacifying the Reapers. Somehow I doubt that will not work.
Not sure if having an army of Geth behind us gives me confidence or makes me feel like there's a target on my back. Not right now.
I guess it'll take some getting used to, that's for sure. Especially with all those people in the multiplayer who think it's funny to color their Geth exactly the same as a Geth hunter. So you keep shooting them by accident.
Kenneth, you comment on every woman's figure but mine.
Well,
What? You don't like my legs?
Gabby, it's you. You know?
No chicken shit, I don't know. All you do is make stupid sexist comments to avoid saying anything real.
Gabby, now's not the time. We've got work to do. Responsibilities.
Ah, grow a pair, Ken. Look around you. Tomorrow may not come. Something to say, or no?
Gabby, please. We have a duty to the ship and the crew.
What about us? Just... listen to yourself. Kenneth, you comment on every woman's figure.
We're not fighting this war for ourselves, Tali. We're fighting for the people close to us. Time is short.
I see your point, Commander. Gabby, I think your legs are spectacular.
Well, that's a start.
Well, Kasumi always did say those two would make a great couple, if they'd ever realize it. We may get to see that, after all.
Commander?
Power grid is in the green.
Nothing to report, Commander.
Tali is not at her usual workstation at the moment, although she will be there later, I think. Right now, she's here at the engine core.
Can't be. No. I guess that's right.
Hey, Tali. How's it going?
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear you. I just got communication from the fleet. Sorry. From Rannoch. In the old days, I'd send any new technology I found back to the fleet. I should probably be doing that with the agriculture samples now. I don't know anything about raising crops.
How are your people doing?
It's crazy. The Geth are helping. Setting up housing, adapting power systems. They are doing in weeks what would have taken us years. Geth are even uploading into the suits of Quarian volunteers. They're rewriting environmental functions, jump-starting our immune systems.
That doesn't seem possible.
The Geth are software, not hardware. They can transfer themselves from a normal body into anything with enough processing power. They're mimicking infections, so the host can adapt without getting sick. It's like making a vaccine.
So the Quarians won't have to wear those suits anymore?
It doesn't seem possible, but yes, in a few years, with Geth improvements, we won't need them. We might still wear them. The suits have become part of our society. But a rupture won't be a death sentence. Today, on Rannoch, there are Quarian children who will grow up healthy and strong, thanks to the Geth.
They owe that to you.
No. I'd have killed the Geth with no regrets. And I'd have been wrong. Thank you.
Anytime. Just let me know if you let a Geth upload itself in there.
No, the only person who gets inside my suit is you. Nothing stands between us now. Whatever the galaxy throws at us, I'll be at your side. By the way, I left something for you up in your cabin. Go have a look.
You left something? I wonder what that could be. Actually, I had a hunch what it might be on my first playthrough, which did turn out to be correct. For those of you who don't know, I will still not spoil it. Also, while I appreciate the sentiment, if it could help you improve your immune system so you can get rid of the suit, I don't think Shepard would mind if you let a Geth program in there.
I can't believe my people are working with the Geth. The Geth are helping us rebuild. I never thought I'd see it. Our scientists and the Geth have done amazing work on the Crucible together. Hey, Shepard.
Good to have Tali back where she belongs, in engineering.
Nothing to report, Commander.
Commander.
I guess there's nothing further to say from ours. Do I even really want to know what Javik's comment on this situation is going to be? I doubt he'll agree with what we've done.
Another Reaper has died. You are proving that humans are capable soldiers. But I question this peace you have brokered. No such thing is possible between machines and organics. I would have destroyed the synthetics without hesitation. And these Quarians, let's just hope they are reliable allies. It is difficult to trust a species that hides behind masks. The only conflict you should concern yourself with is ending the one with the Reapers. Diplomacy does not win wars. Powerful and plentiful firearms do.
Yes, and this diplomacy we've been doing has helped us get more powerful firearms, so I don't see your point.
Your Asari continues to question me. I'm beginning to wish her kind had never learned to talk. Do not care what others think. Do what you must.
That certainly seems to be your guiding principle. Oh, Cortez is over there.
Sir.
Wow, nothing?
I can't believe you got the Geth and Quarians to play nice. You should get a medal for that alone. It looks like we just need to get the Asari on board, and we can finally focus on the Reapers. But I don't suppose it'll be as easy as all that.
Nothing ever is.
One step at a time, I guess.
If they give Shepard all of the medals he deserves after these 3 games, he wouldn't be able to walk if he wore all of them.
300 years it took to take back the Quarian homeworld. I sure as hell hope it doesn't take that long for us. I'm ready to see Earth again, Shepard. I still can't believe you went inside a Geth. I don't even... Loco. Completely loco. Hey.
That's not the craziest thing we've done. We got a Geth plasma shotgun, which Tali uses, so let's upgrade it. There we go. 1 Geth plasma shotgun, 5 for Tali. Now let's see what Tali left in our cabin. Indeed. Tali unmasked. Finally. Like I said, I kind of suspected that was what it was going to be when she said that in engineering, first time I played the game. And I was right. Now, this aspect of the game was, well, not quite as controversial as the ending, but rather controversial. As for me, I don't really mind that this is what Tali looks like. I'm fine with this appearance. I think we already knew from several other sources in the game that the Quarians were supposed to be one of the more human-like species. So in that sense, it's not unexpected. And you really weren't... They could never have pleased everyone with Tali's looks. I mean, some people were probably hoping for a really alien appearance, others would have wanted her to look more human or attractive or whatever. They're never going to please everyone with that. And this fits with what we already knew about the Quarians, and for me it's fine. What I do have a problem with is the way it's done. This, I think most of the controversy actually came from the fact that this is a stock photo of, I think, a former Miss London, which was photoshopped to look like Tali. And that is just lazy. The idea of revealing the face using the picture is pretty nice, and I would have even accepted this instead of a reveal on the planet, which I still think would have been the ideal place to do it. If after this we got to see Tali unmasked in the game in 3D, but we never do. Even if there's a romance scene later, we still don't get to see Tali unmasked in the game engine. All we ever get this picture, and that is just lazy. And really a shame. And I sincerely doubt there will ever be a DLC that corrects this. So this is all we have to deal with. The Photoshop job itself is also kind of sloppy, in that if you look at the picture closely, it's kind of difficult to see, because if I try to examine it again, you just get the same cutscene again that we just had. You can't really look at it closely easily. The fingers are kind of weird and don't match what they actually look like on our 3D model. It's like they just cut two human fingers off. So the remaining three are really close together, which doesn't really match her 3D looks. And as someone who has long hair myself, I really doubt that anyone who wears a helmet 100% of the time would ever have hair like that. That is, if it would even be possible to grow hair if you're wearing a helmet all the time. Humans would not be able to do that. Hair follicles would basically die off after a while. But of course, Quarians are not humans, so I can't really speak about that. I think the implication is that this picture was taken on Rannoch just now. It certainly seems to be on a planet, and I don't think Tali has ever been without her mask on a planet before. Anyway, at least we finally have a love interest picture in our quarters again, which is something I think I commented on in the beginning, that was a shame we didn't have one. Like we had Liara's picture in Mass Effect 2. And yes, you only get this if you're romancing Tali. If you don't romance her, you do not get a picture of her face. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean you don't know what she looks like, because, you know, internet. Well, Boo, what do you think of the peace between the Quarians and Geth? Well said, well said. I could not have put it better myself. And that is it for Rannoch, for the time being. No, not actually for the time being, for the entire game. So, with that behind us, we can move on to other things that we have to do. We got one more message on the datapad, though, from Tali. Even without Geth suits, we're getting some nice upgrades. Geth code plus Quarian ingenuity is something to see. I don't doubt it. One interesting thing about the whole Geth in Quarian suits thing is the fact that even with the Reaper upgrades, they are apparently still purely software. Which means that, does a Prime platform now contain, like, hundreds of individuals, or just one? Because I know it would have contained a lot of programs before, but I don't know how they do it now. We got a message from the Asari counselor, who wishes to talk privately about a matter pertaining to the war effort. Meet her on the Citadel. But there are a couple of other missions that have collected while we were busy on Rannoch, and I think next we are going to do N7 fuel reactors. A vital depot has gone silent, leaving Allied fleets short on desperately needed fuel. Investigate the depot and get it operational again. But that will have to wait until the next video.